OCO, and good evening.
Yeah, they did.
This is the Council of the Cherokee Nation meeting. This is our May council meeting, so people just come in and have a seat, and we'll begin to take care of business here. We have been in committee meetings most of the day, and we've hashed and rehashed a lot of the topics there. So tonight we'll go over some of the issues that we discussed, and we'll move forward to pass or not to pass. So just have a seat, and we'll get this council meeting underway. So having said that, Councilor Taylor, would you please bless the meeting?
Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to come here tonight to do the work for the people that we serve. We pray that you will be with us as we make decisions. They will be the best for our nation. We pray that you will continue to keep your hand on our chief as he guides us and makes decisions for us. Be with our servicemen, both here and abroad. Keep them safe as they keep us safe. Give us traveling mercies as we go our separate ways tonight. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Shelley, would you please do roll call?
Yes, sir. Bill Englund.
Amen.
Keith Austin. Here. Harley Buzzard. Here. Joe Byrd.
Honey?
Sean Crittenden. Amen. Mike Dobbins. Here. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan. Here. Dick Lay.
Amen.
Mike Shambaugh.
Amen.
Mary Bakershaw. E.O. Smith.
Here.
Janice Taylor.
Here.
Victoria Vasquez. David Walkingstick. Brian Warner. We do have a quorum.
This time I'd entertain approval of the minutes.
Make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. This time we'll go to the State of the Nation by our Principal Chief, Mr. Bill John Baker.
Before I get started, I'd like to ask Darren DeLosier. I think he's got a gift for each of the council people that come forward. You'll start in that corner there and work your way around.
Okay.
Thank you.
What are the books about, Chief?
It's a Christmas blessing, and apparently he's doing a Cherokee version a little later. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks harmless.
anything you'd like to say?
On the front.
No?
Just briefly, my wife and I adopted our daughter from Kazakhstan, right below Russia, about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And, you know, she'll be 12 in July. And I don't know, I got tired of reading books to her, so I made up this story about this little girl from China when she was about 5. And this last year, this was her favorite story, Coco's Christmas Blessing. And anyway, I hope you all get a lot out of it. It's a Christian story, and it's been a real blessing to our family and to others. We have an orphanage in Haiti, and we have about 50 kids. After the earthquake in Haiti in 2010, I went down there, and we've built about a $500,000 complex down there, and all the proceeds from this go to the orphanage. And I'm working on a project right now to benefit the Cherokee Nation children. Written a story about a little Cherokee girl named Georgia Faith, and that was my great-great-grandmother's name, and I've used my daughter's middle name, Faith. And so I would like to use this book to benefit the Cherokee Nation children as well with a project that I've been talking to Secretary Hoskins about. So I would like for you all to read this book and read it to your grandkids and your children, and would like to have some feedback from you on it. And hopefully it can be used as a tool to reach the tribe for God. So God bless y'all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Oshio.
Yeah.
And welcome to the May council meeting. Seems like time's just a-flying. News of the month, Friday, we gave keys out to 11 families in Veneta for a new housing project that put 11 new families in the brand new homes, part of the new home construction program. We gave almost $500,000 out to the 131 Northeastern Oklahoma volunteer fire departments during our annual volunteer firefighter appreciation dinner. And many of you were there, and we appreciate that very much. We also help first responders through our behavioral health department. We had a $1 million grant to help the local emergency personnel fight the opioid overdoses, and by supplying free boxes of the spray Narcan, which reverses the overdoses, and the training to use them properly across the 14 counties. Now, so far, Veneta Fire Department and Fort Gibson Police Department have already reported back that they had to administer the boxes of Narcan that we provided just a few days after the training, and saved lives. I'm happy to report a bill we advocated for at the state capitol, which was signed into law by the governor, House Bill 1334, authored by Chief of Staff Chuck Hoskin Sr., that allows public school districts with excess land to transfer that land to the Tribal Housing Authority so new homes can be developed. It's a win-win for the tribe, for the citizens that live in those communities, as well as the school districts, because each and every child that lives in one of those homes takes about $2,800 to public school with them in the form of impact aid. So hopefully we'll, if any of you have school districts, you might mention it to them, because if there's 10 kids in the home, that's $29,000 or $28,000 a year. If there's more kids than that in these homes, then it's just that much more that goes to the school district each and every year to help with funding that's outside the formula that they can use for whatever their need is, and with no strings attached. I want to thank Chief of Staff Hoskin for his years of service at the Capitol. He completed his last session, and he was a true champion for the tribes and tribal sovereignty on the state level. On the federal side, I traveled to Washington, D.C. last week to testify before the U.S. House Subcommittee on Appropriations, and talked about health care funding, a potential joint venture with BIE for Sequoia High School, and the incorrect decision to classify tribal governments as a racial group, which would jeopardize our Medicaid reimbursements. That concludes that part of the report. If I want to list the names of Cherokees that were with us last month that are not with us this month, and ask for any additions, and then a moment of silence. Larry Blair of Grove, Daniel Chukalate of Tahlequah, William Clark of Locust Grove, Garrett Cole of Salisaw, Stacy Craighead of Salisaw, Kane Dick of Salisaw, Alvin Dry of Locust Grove, Dora Duffield of Salisaw, Tom Flynn of Stillwell, Delphine Graham of Pryor, Raymond Greenwood of Bartlesville, Ronald Hathcock of Locust Grove, Jason Jackson of Siloam Springs, Mary Knott of Locust Grove, Stephen Koloski of Tahlequah, Justin Linnick of Salisaw, Jimmy Martin of Tahlequah, Carrie Potter of Chelsea, Norma Prosler of Tahlequah, Gregory Rhodes of Springdale, Timothy Shockley of Skiatook, Sherman Silcock of Tahlequah, Nancy Soap of Stillwell, Alvin Stick of Locust Grove, Mark Walters of Salisaw, Levi Walford of Stillwell, Herbert Garvin, brother of former Councilman Don Garvin, and Valletta Warner, Councilman Brian Warner's grandmother. Any others?
Guy Hawk, Stillwell.
Catherine Lynn J.
Lydia Young, Adrian Buckner, and Henry Bunch of Stillwell.
Louis Walking Stick, Sr. of Salisaw.
If we could have a moment of silence, please.
One more, Chief.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Robert Dye Jr., WW2 veteran, Fort Gibson.
Okay. Dick?
Bucky Buck, no water.
Now a moment of silence. Widow?
Thank you, Chief. At this time, we'll go to the Cherokee Warrior Veterans Awards, our Deputy Chief.
Thank you, Speaker. This evening we have 3 veterans to recognize for their service and with the Warrior Award and the Medal of Patriotism. And if I could get Councilman Keith Austin to come forward to help with this first one. And our first veteran tonight is Johnny L. Callison. Johnny, would you come forward?
And Councilor Taylor.
Okay. Council Lady Taylor, would you come and help also? Keith said you should come down. I just had one name on here, so that's all I read. I apologize. In September of 1965, Mr. Callison enlisted in the United States Air Force and was sent to San Antonio, Texas for basic training. A few months later, he was sent to Vietnam, where he spent 5 months with the B-52 bomb squadron to support the ground troops. One of the dangers of being in a bomb squadron is when your missioned aircraft returns with a 500-pound loaded bomb hung up on the loading rack, which took place as it landed on the airstrip during his watch. The bomb squadron unarmed the bomb before it could hurt anyone and the surroundings. Mr. Callison was honorably discharged in January of 1969 and had the ranks of an E-4 sergeant. His medals awarded: National Defense Service Medal, Air Force Medal 900-3. Mr. Callison, on behalf of a grateful nation, I want to thank you for your service to this country.
Wait a minute, whoa. Where's that?
3, 1, 2, 3.
And would you like your family to come down and take a picture?
That's my wife. She's on the That's the only family I got here.
Come right ahead. It's easy to identify.
Yeah. Yeah, 3, 1, 2, 3.
And Mr. Callison, would you like to say anything?
I really appreciate this. It's nice award. I never have got an award like this. I mean, when you're in the military, you get DD-214, but you don't get a whole lot of awards. I really appreciate it.
I'll work on it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Keith? Denise is listed on here by her, so you want to join her on this one too?
I don't know, what's the meeting?
All right. Ms. Taylor, you want to come back and help? Your name's on this one also. And do you want Keith to come and help you?
Absolutely.
All right, Keith, come on. Our second veteran this evening is Thomas Franklin Consine. Come forward, sir. In 1966, Thomas Consine went to Oklahoma City to take his induction and physical for basic training. He was now a GI in the United States Air Force and stationed in San Antonio, Texas. After basic training, he was transferred to Sherman Air Force Base in Dill, Oklahoma, and was assigned to the 70th Bomb Wing Squadron, where they were deployed overseas to Anderson Air Force Base in Guam, where they supported the ground efforts of troops serving in Vietnam and Thailand, loading supplies on the B-52s and the KC-135s in the air 24/7. Mr. Consine got an early release, first term with an honorable discharge as an E-4 sergeant in 1969. We were discussing some of the bombing efforts and our time. He was there in Guam about some of the time maybe that I was there, close to it. And we're talking about how we could feel the island tremble when those B-52s were warming up and heading for their bombing runs. And it was like he said, it was every day, and it was quite a sight to see that and the effort. His medals earned were Air Force Medal 900-3, Air Force Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Medal. And Mr. Consine, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your service to this country, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I would like to not only accept this for myself, but I've got a lot of family members that participated within the different events that took place within the Cherokee Nation and this country to keep us where we're at today with our freedom, with our families, and on behalf of not only myself, but a lot of my family members that participated in the past, thank you. Come on. Two sons, daughter-in-law, grandson, one son, Desert Storm. One, two, three.
Thank you, And our third veteran this evening is at large. Wanda, would you come forward? And Mary Baker Shaw, please come forward. Our third veteran is Rudy L. Glass. Rudy, would you come forward, sir? Mr. Rudy Glass enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in January of '64. Was sent for recruit training at Camp Pendleton in California, and then sent to Marine Corps Air Station in El Toro, Irvine, California. After finishing his training, he received orders to report to Iwakuni, Japan. From there, his orders came again in '65, and he was transferred to Da Nang, Vietnam. While stationed in Vietnam, he worked as an air freight transportation clerk and operation freight vehicle loader. In 1966, he was transferred back stateside to California as an E-5 sergeant and was honorably discharged in 1968. Mr. Glass, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your service to this country, sir.
for it, didn't you? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
3, 1, 2, 3.
Any family want to come down?
Come on down.
Yeah.
Do what?
You want me to take a picture?
I'm already getting ready.
You're here in fact. Okay, we'll look right here on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Anything you'd like to say, sir?
Yes, thank you all for that.
It's okay.
Old Dad's got too much stuff. Thank you all.
Mr. Speaker, that's all I have.
Deputy, you always do a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you. At this time, we drop down to unfinished business, see none, committee reports, monthly reports. We have with us this evening Dr. Charles Grimm, our new Executive Director of Cherokee Nation Health Services, is going to be with us tonight. We just can't get enough of you, Dr. Grimm.
I know, Speaker. Thank you for having me tonight. I had you all, or you all had me for over an hour today, so I'm going to just be brief.
You have no more than 5 minutes tonight.
That's all in fact, I'm going to try to not even take that long, so you'll ask me back sometime.
Okay.
I mentioned earlier today that last week was National Hospital Week. We did a lot of events for our staff at Hastings Hospital. It was also National Nursing Week, and we awarded a number of things, had a lot of events during Nursing Week too, all across our system. I happened to be out at Salina for an event, and they had a cookout for all the nurses that day. And that was just an example of something we did. And so instead of giving you some system-wide updates, I thought I'd do just 1 or 2 quick comments about things going on at some of our health centers, recognize some of our staff that have recently been awarded, and tell you a little bit about some things that are going on. At our Mo Health Center, Tanya Swim, our dietitian, was selected for a very high-level award as the Oklahoma Dietitian of the Year from the Oklahoma Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Rhonda Brown from that facility, who's our radiology physician assistant, won the Quality Award for 2018 at our Docs Rock, our annual appreciation event. At the Cooey Health Center, our clinic administrator, Brandy Payton, has started in the Native American Oklahoma Leadership 2018 class. At our Redbird Smith Health Center, Melissa Horn, an advanced practice registered nurse who's been with us many, many years, is going to be receiving one of the highest level awards that the IHS gives out at their awards ceremony later this summer, the IHS Area Director Lifetime Achievement Award. You all don't always get to hear about these good things at our health committee. At our Sam Hyder Health Center, the staff are planning a kids powwow for early fall in 2018. At our Three Rivers Health Center, staff are starting a community garden this week, and they're also sponsoring the Kay Lane Run. Kay was an employee of the Three Rivers Health Center before she passed away several years ago. At our Veneta Health Center, our physical therapy department is planning a prevention program for ACL injuries, anterior cruciate ligaments. They're going to be inviting area coaches and parents, and they're going to show them how to help our area kids there prevent any ACL injuries, which can, if they're bad enough, end up leading to surgery. So I think that'll be a very welcome event. At At our Will Rogers Health Center, Brandy Goodwin, our nurse manager, won the Fostering Relationship Award and will receive it at the IHS National Awards meeting in Rockville, Maryland in June. And finally, at our Wilma P. Mankiller Health Center, I mentioned this in Health Committee, but we're going to be getting a new facility there. We're going to be renovating, or actually rebuilding the old site, or what was the original building, and we're in planning phases right now, and I'll keep you all abreast of that. Also, Dr. Reese from that facility won the People Pillar Award at our 2018 Our Docs Rock event, and those are some good things happening in health services. Any questions, Speaker?
You know, we weren't going to allow anybody to ask you questions because you gave such a good report. They had their chance earlier.
All right, thank you.
This was really report only. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. What we do is we ask different departments to come and present at a council meeting, and you know, we've always good to have Dr. Grimm. We had him today in an earlier committee meeting. This time we do have Cherokee Nation Business CEO, Mr. Sean Slayton.
Good evening, Council. I'll keep my comments brief tonight. We had a good February financially. We had a great March financially. We set records, company records all time for revenue, net income, and dividends paid back to the tribe. That concludes my report. Actually, it doesn't. We also paid about $311,000 in taxes to the tribe, back to the nation. Project-wise, if you stop by the Hard Rock or been by, you will maybe have noticed that the sprung is down, and we're now in the construction phase with the foundation work and site work there. Tahlequah site work at the plaza is underway. I believe there will be some new announcements on some businesses that are going to go in there very soon that we'll be able to announce. We started the interior renovation of the Cherokee National Capitol. These renovations will help prepare the building to serve as a museum site. The project includes plaster restoration, new public restrooms, new flooring, a new geothermal HVAC system to help with humidity, and an addition of an elevator and a second stairwell. The interior reservations are being managed by our cultural tourism and are slated to be complete in early 2019. The work is being performed by Builders Unlimited, a Tarot certified company. This is the latest of many preservation projects to take place at the Capitol. In 2013, a replica cupola was constructed to bring the building back to its 1870 appearance. A few years later, the building underwent a masonry restoration in which more than 3,000 bricks were replaced to strengthen that structure. That work also included removing paint from the existing brick to help return the building to its historic look. On the business side, C&T Cherokee Nation Technologies earned a firm fixed price order to conduct comprehensive surveillance efforts for the Department of Defense. They'll be helping provide scientific, professional, and technical service support, including epidemiology and analysis, global emerging infection surveillance, and integrated biosurveillance. I don't know what any of that means, but that's what we're going to do. Mortality registry and operational support, and actually what some of that means is if an epidemic breaks out anywhere in the world, we help support and track where that's headed and what's going on with it. Very important work. Cherokee Nation Technology is also partnering with the University of Alaska Fairbanks in the FAA's USA Integration Pilot Program, which was announced last week. We're very appreciative of being able to do that. We'll team with the University of Alaska and lend our expertise in the drone program and unmanned aerial vehicles that we've acquired when we were in partnership with OSU several years ago. The National Quality Assurance recently increased Cherokee Nation business engineering and manufacturing sector certification to the aerospace quality standards. It's a prestigious milestone for that company. Cherokee Nation Distributors has again been named one of the most prestigious suppliers in the aerospace industry to Sikorsky Aircraft, part of Lockheed Martin's rotary and mission systems business. Very happy for that honor as well. And tonight, I'm very proud to announce that our gaming and hospitality division has been working on gaming opportunities outside of the 14 counties, and we have partnered with the Call Nation to announce a consulting and development contract with them to help provide oversight as they build their new casino up on I-35 and the Kansas border. This will be a project where we don't supply any money. They're supplying their own funds to build it, but we've built several, and they've asked the Cherokee Nation businesses to assist them with consulting and helping get that facility open. So over the next few months, hopefully less than a year, we'll be helping them with that project. Our employment is 6,865. 4,487 are ones that we can practice a preference on. Our Cherokee percentage was 73.3, with other Native at 6.9, for a total of 80.2% Native American employees. And with that, I'll conclude my report and answer any questions.
Yes, Councilor Lay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sean, the call development, was that consulting only, or is that management contract?
Consulting only, and we, one of the things that we do with those type contracts is we send those to the NIGC to let them review them and make sure that it is not a management contract. And so once that's, it's called the declination letter, is received, then we'll be able to move forward with helping them decide what to build and how to build it. But we are not providing at this time management services for that casino.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Walkenstedt.
Hey, Sean, what's the latest on the development in Arkansas where the proposal goes?
Okay, the group that filed last year, or last time, they were rejected for the second or third time. The Quapaw initiative was rejected for the third time. They have filed 2 suits against the Attorney General. We're not participating in any of those. We provided no funding for any of it. If it gets on the ballot, our agreement is that we'll support them to get it passed. But I believe it's a June 1st deadline. The AG has 10 days to, once they receive it, to offer an opinion one way or the other on it. So they're coming down to probably their last submission to see if they can get that through for this election coming up in 18.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Sean, I think it's a good thing that we help other tribes, with economic development. If we are going to be the leaders, and we are, then we should share those good ideas, as long as there's not a conflict.
There's not a conflict.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Good report.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Speaker, I'd like to amend the agenda to include a resolution out of Community Services, which would go under new business as number 7.
Okay, got a motion to amend agenda? Second? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. All right. Now we have number 1, Mr. Shambaugh, you want to do that?
This is Resolution 18-018. Due to ongoing litigation, I would like this resolution referred back to the Resource Committee, and I put that in the form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second to put this back through committee. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Next one, Councilor Warner.
Yes, sir. This is a resolution authorizing acceptance of land from Oklahoma Department of Transportation, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. EO, you want to take resolution number 2 there?
All right. A resolution confirming the reappointment of Stephen E. Barrick as Commissioner of the Cherokee Nation Gaming Commission. I put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Councilor Austin, do you want to take number 3?
Yes, this is a resolution authorizing the execution of certain contracts that preserve sovereign immunity, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Absolutely, Speaker.
Yes.
Do we have anybody from AG's office here?
I don't think so.
Okay. I guess I need to know if these contracts that are being signed off on, if they're going to be reported to the tribal council. And I assume, Dr. Grimm, this is to expedite the process to purchase health merchandise, but health property, I guess, equipment and so forth. Is that right?
Yes, sir, and I believe we had also indicated that any contracts like that, we would report back.
Okay. But will this be in a written form and maybe in a report, or could you put that into a written form, into a report? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
And it won't be necessarily for health, but it can be. Yes, Councilor Lay?
And thank you. I think that clarifies some issues that I had, that it's not in the legislation. Is that a promise from the health department?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can we do?
Thank you.
I guess.
Yes, our treasurer is here.
If you'll refer to the legislation, I think the final be it further resolved. I think mine reads the same as yours, that the treasurer shall submit a monthly report to the Executive and Finance Committee of the Tribal Council with a list of contracts executed by the principal chief that contain the foregoing contract provisions.
Yeah.
I think that will clear it. Thank you.
Okay. Are you good?
Yeah, thanks, Speaker.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, now we're down to number 4. Yes, Councilor Hargis, you want to take that?
This is an act amending Title 21 and Title 22 of the Cherokee Code, annotated relating to the safety for Native American women and creating special domestic violence criminal jurisdiction over non-Indian defendants. I put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Got a motion?
By acclamation, please.
By motion, second by acclamation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Number 5, Councilor Anglin, you want to take that?
Sure. This is an act amending Title 12 of the Cherokee Nation Code, annotated, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
By acclamation.
Councilor Walkenstick?
It's Lane. We visited about this in council about a criminal amendment regarding to sexual harassment. Was that feasible, or what was your research on that?
At this point, I recommend it being passed as is because VAWA is so limited. It doesn't include things like sexual assault, texting. Those are things that are already can be protected under a civil protective order. So at this time, I would recommend just leaving that as is. We can go back and revisit that at a later time.
Good.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Number 6, Councilor Taylor.
This is an act amending Legislative Act 2617, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2018, Mod 8A, and declaring an emergency, and I move for its approval.
Second by acclamation.
Got a motion and second by acclamation?
Yeah, no question.
Yes.
Lacey, under the, Ken brought to my attention that there's going to be an attorney that's going to be assigned to finance. Can you kind of explain to the council what the need is for an attorney?
Absolutely. So first I'll just start with the amount of grants that the nation receives and the terms and conditions that are coming forward from the agencies. And it's becoming more and more apparent that whenever I sign my name to an agreement, per the Constitution, the Treasurer accepts all funds on behalf of the Cherokee Nation, that I need someone watching my back more closely, just because things are getting very tricky. And so this is to help assist in the grants areas, in the treasury and cash management. We're constantly reviewing account documents with financial institutions, as well as just to be a general guide on new rules and regulations that are coming out of the federal government and these agencies that we're working with. So when the AG's office is focusing their efforts on their work, this will be more of a real working teammate for the Financial Resources Department. We just are getting that big where we need someone who is dedicated to finance.
Yeah, thank you, Lacey.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Speaker.
Okay.
Speaker.
Yes, Councilor Lay.
Thank you. And will this attorney be working for the AG's office or for you?
This attorney will be working for the treasurer, so it'll be in financial resources. Don't have anyone selected. I'll be probably running for a panel.
Okay. One of the issues that we're facing now is every time we ask a question, there's an attorney-client privilege that jumps up in front of us and precludes anybody talking about it. And I'm hoping that this attorney will work for you and not the AG's office, because that's where my problems seem to stem from sometimes, and I wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay. Did you say by acclamation?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Now we've got our amended item here. Councilor Vargas, are you taking that?
Yeah. This is a resolution certifying compliance with 24 CFR Chapter 9. It's for citizen participation, and this is actually a grant that will assist the Cherry Tree Water District with a new building and some other needed repairs. I move for its approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Really quick, I've got an announcement to make. A month or so ago, a co-speaker, myself, and went to see the play, the documentary, Sovereignty, in Washington, D.C. It's written by one of our tribal members, Catherine Nagel, Mary Catherine. And it's really got outstanding reviews. It talks about how Worcester v. Georgia back in the 1800s came to be, and it brought the two factions together who actually wrote the brief and made it happen. The federal government has come along and divided us in a way where now we're finally putting the pieces back together. You know, when we're united as Cherokee people, we're strong as we want to be. So we're going to try to put that documentary play on June the 18th during our tri-council at the Hard Rock. It'll last about an hour and a half. Candace, would you please come down? I've got just a couple things I want you to help me with. This is my daughter, Candace. She's in performing arts. I still owe the government some money from her going to school. You can get right up here. But she helps me with this when I need some help. She, Councilor Critton, I think she went to Peavine a couple of years. So, but anyway, what we have done is got a decent cast out there. We got Delana Studi, and you might tell what part she's going to play.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Council. Thank you, Citizenry, Chief Lacey. And I just want to say that this is a fantastic opportunity. It's a really wonderful time for our Cherokee citizens to be telling their stories with our voices. And the fact that Mary Catherine was able to get Delana Studi, who is a wonderful off-Broadway actress who starred in August Osage County back during its off-Broadway premiere. She's going to come and play the lead role. And she plays a young Cherokee lawyer who is fighting for the Violence Against Women Act for its implementation within Cherokee Nation jurisdiction. And this play jumps back and forth between the past and the present because, as we know, a lot of times, a lot of the things and the struggles that we carry and fight for here today stem from a lot of our past struggles. And that's the parallel that Mary Catherine always aims to bring forth in her plays and in her work. And one of our very own beloved people here, Robert Lewis, has agreed to take the role of Major Ridge as well. And I would be remiss in saying that yours truly will also be playing a role as well in this play, and I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited for everybody to come and watch this play, and it's a piece of very valuable, very important history, American history, but as well as Cherokee history, a defining point in our history as Cherokee people. So I hope you all come, and I hope we all enjoy ourselves and share a moment.
Hey, Speaker, when is this?
It will be during our tri-council, June the 18th, which is a Monday night at the Hard Rock, and it will not take away anything that the Hard Rock does because Monday nights they don't have anything going on anyway.
I want to ask Candace something.
What's that?
I would like to ask Candace
Go
something.
ahead.
I was thrilled to get to attend that one in Washington, D.C., as was Councilor Austin. Would you just expound just a little bit on how Mary Catherine was received and the fact that she was a little bit about the arena and the history of not ever having someone like her present a play there?
Yes.
Tell a little bit about that, because it's very impressive.
Absolutely. Mary Catherine Nagel is a very dear friend of mine, so I'll say that. So the fact that this play, Sovereignty, a Native American play, let alone a Cherokee play, got chosen to be commissioned by Arena Stage. Arena Stage is one of the largest theaters in the U.S. with a very large endowment, and that's just a fancy way of saying they have a lot of money in Washington, D.C. And this play, the fact that it was chosen, that Mary Catherine was chosen, this piece was chosen by Arena Stage, is very, very significant. And the fact that it played in Washington, D.C. Not very many Native American plays are produced. I can tell you that during my grad school experience, whenever they put the chart on the board of ethnicities that are represented within American entertainment and the American stage, I can tell you that Native Americans were not even on the chart. Not at all. So the fact that this played in a mainstream, bona fide theater with the kind of endowment that it has in Washington, D.C., with elected officials such as Supreme Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the audience, that is significant. That we are getting our stories and that our voices are being heard in this time and place, and it's a very exciting time.
Speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'd like to also add, Chief Baker just mentioned about the federal government trying to change tribes to a race instead of a political entity. Washington consider tribals political entities, whereas the governments that get to control themselves and govern themselves. And, you know, the federal government making tribal race not only affects Medicare and Medicaid, but it affects sovereignty and us being able to govern ourselves. And this play, sharing our story, is crucial. Not only the Trail of Tears drama that we all talk about in that sharing our story, but this is another opportunity for us to share our story, and hopefully this story continues to make its way back to Washington, D.C., to the federal government, so that people can hear ourselves and that we are strong. I commend you for taking this on. It's a lot of work, and I wish you best, and we're all here to support you guys.
Thank you, Council.
Thanks, Steve.
Yes, Councilor Crittenden.
Yeah, Candace, thank you. That sounds like a great opportunity for folks who don't get to hear our story to hear it. So thank you for all the work that you do.
Well, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Who?
Yeah, just on a different note. All right. Last month we discussed maybe forming a work group, just discussing our brothers and sisters of the UKB, and I'm just looking to see who was going to be on that with me.
Be honored with you, Councilman Warner. You the one that brought that up. Are you going to be on that committee?
I need to be.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Let us know when we need to meet, Councilman.
Thank you.
Okay, free panel. Thank you, Candace, for bailing me out. You know, when I went to that showing, it was standing room only. And people that were at that play were professors, lawyers, mostly non-tribal members that wanted to know how did sovereignty even come to be? And that story tells it pretty well. And in that play, without giving away too much detail, they sang Amazing Grace in Cherokee, and there were people teary-eyed in front of me. And then the Eastern Band, when they were there, they actually sang along with it. But it's an awesome play. And Kevin Gover, the executive director of NMAI, went one night. He tried to go back another night. They were sold out. So we'll do the best we can with the actors that we have here at Hard Rock. So thank you. Appreciate you.
All
right. Need a motion or announcements here to my right? Yes, EO.
Yes, I'm going to announce this Friday and Saturday down at Spavinaw, they're having a block party for the Spavinaw Youth Shelter, having some bands and some food and some games. So if you're looking for something to do, come to Spavinaw, Oklahoma on Friday night and Saturday. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Mr. EO?
Monday, June 4th, 6 o'clock at Bragg's, we're on community meeting for District 5. Invite everybody there. It's going to be good food, good fellowship. There's not been one in Bragg's in a long time. The people there are very excited, so come on out.
To my left, anybody? Sequoia Day, you want to announce that?
Yes, sir. Sequoia Day. It's in conjunction with the Native Games at Sequoia's Cabin. That's from 10 to 4. They'll start off with some games in the morning, then they'll continue on. So invite everybody out. I think it's a good thing to have. And I'd also like to add a little bit to what Candace and Speaker Byrd were talking about. I was interested when we got the invite to go out there. I wasn't able to go. I encourage you to go on the website and Google this stuff. You can go deep back into what they did at the arena stage, and it was really neat. Most people wouldn't think of me as being a theater guy, but I thought it was really cool how they would have a panel afterwards, and they had Gloria Steinem and people like that. So it was really impressive, the kind of movement that's being made out there. And then you can go back and peruse over into Mary Catherine's law firm and find out more about her and what she's more about and stuff. And I think that's really where it's at when you start to get to the heart of these issues, is to find out what's driving that individual. So thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
What's that? Yeah, Sequoia Day this Saturday. Yes, Councilor Austin.
Mr. DeLozer sent me a message saying that he would be available to sign the books that he handed out if anybody would like him to sign.
Okay. I'd like to thank our CMB board member, one of the most dedicated board members that we have, Jerry Holderby, to my left here. he doesn't have to be here, but he's here. I think he's the only board member here. So Sean, have you given him any attention lately? And it's always good to have our treasurer here, Lacey Horn. We appreciate you. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. The motion second. Well, don't.